I hope you're having a good weekend. This is Miss Galupski here. If you're looking into the Google Classroom today, which is Sunday, you'll see that I started posting your week's assignments since I am going to be gone Monday and Tuesday. Again, they are from Monday and Tuesday only, so you do not need to begin them now. If you have any questions, comments, concerns on Monday or Tuesday about the capitalization lessons, please feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, here we go. So today we are going to be discussing capitalization. All the rules you need to know. Monday you will be going over lesson number 1, and on Tuesday you will be going over lesson number 2. This is to get us ready for our paper that we will be starting on Wednesday. So here's what you need to do. First, you need to go to Google Classroom. On the Google Classroom, you will see that everything will be due at 11:59 p.m., just like usual, on Monday and Tuesday night. So this capitalization lesson number 1, this is of course due tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. tonight. So anything you do not finish in class, you will need to finish for homework. So here are the following things that I included. First is the PowerPoint. The link to this video will be attached after I get finished, so that will be on there too. The capitalization lesson number 1, these are your notes. You need to make sure that you open them up. They will already have a copy made for you. While you are following along and listening to me, you'll be filling in the information that is missing. After you're finished, you're going to make a copy and save this to your Google Drive. You'll need to be reviewing these because on Thursday you will be having a quiz. And finally, the last thing that you'll be pulling up is your assignment, which I'm not going to go over right now. I'll go over it at the end once I'm finished, and I'll let you know what you will be doing. So here we go. Capitalization, lesson number 1. So the first thing that lesson number 1 talks about is names, initials, and the pronoun I. For your research project / paper, you are going to be choosing either a Nazi soldier or a person that survived the Holocaust. So you're going to be using their names multiple times. So you need to make sure that you remember, you need to capitalize people's names and initials. So I gave you some examples down here, such as like J.R.R. Tolkien or Dr. Seuss, J.K. Rowling. They are important like you, so their names need to be capitalized. Also, with the pronoun I, you are going to be doing a reflection section, and you are going to be talking about yourself in first person. So you need to make sure that you always capitalize the pronoun I every single time that you use it in your reflection. Okay? The next part goes over personal titles and abbreviations. Capitalize titles and abbreviations of titles that are used before names and in direct address. So I have, for example, on here, Professor Anita Jones, Dr. Martin Luther King, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Those are titles and abbreviations, the P in professor, the D in doctor, the M in Mr. You need to make sure that when they are before a name, you capitalize them. Okay, the second part. Capitalize titles of heads of state, royalty, or nobility only when they are used before persons' names or in place of persons' names. This is very, very important that you remember. Only. Okay, it is only capitalized when it is before a name. So I gave you some examples. Queen Elizabeth, Chief Justice William H. Rehnquist, Sir Elton John. You need to make sure that when Queen or Chief Justice or Sir, if they come before a name, you need to make sure you capitalize them. Next one, family relationships. Capitalize words indicating family relationships only when they are used before names. So the A in aunt, Aunt Sue, the G in grandma, Grandma Barbara, the C in cousin, Cousin Amy. Since aunt comes before the name Sue, it is capitalized. Okay? Bottom one, capitalize words indicating family relationships only when they are used as names. So that's mostly mom and dad. Okay? When you use mom and dad and that is your name for them, that is when you can capitalize it. Okay? But otherwise, the other ones that you see up here, Aunt Sue, Grandma Barbara, Cousin Amy, it needs to have a name behind it. Gave you a hint at the bottom. In general, do not capitalize a word indicating a family relationship when it follows the person's name or is used without a proper noun. So again, if you're using it in the sentence, if it does not have the name after it, you do not capitalize. Okay? Moving on, religious terms. You are going to be covering a lot of these in your paper because you're either going to be talking about a Nazi soldier or you're going to be talking about a survivor, and it's going to go over religious terms. So you need to capitalize the names of religions, sacred days, sacred writings, and deities. So I gave you some examples. Religions, that would be Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism. Sacred days, Good Friday, Ramadan. Sacred writings, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. And deities such as God and Yahweh. Anytime you're talking about those religious terms, you need to make sure you capitalize them. One thing you need to remember, though, as I say down here, when you are referring to mythology, gods and goddesses, the gods and goddesses, those words are lowercase, okay? And last but not least, nationalities, language, and races. Again, something you'll be covering. So you need to capitalize the names of nationalities, languages, races, and ethnic groups. I gave you some examples. A nationality, the Romans, languages, Greek, races or ethnic groups, African Americans. Anytime you are talking about a person's nationality, language, or race, you need to make sure you capitalize it. Okay, so those are all the notes for you guys. Again, pretty simple things you guys know. This was just a reminder for you. If your notes are not finished, you're more than welcome to listen to this again or open up the presentation on Google Classroom and fill in what you're missing. You should have made a copy by now and also put a copy of the notes in your Google Drive so you know where you need to go to study. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is you need to pull up the assignment, the one that is right here. First thing I'm asking you to do is to type in your MLA header. So remember those first 4 lines, okay, of a paper. And we're going to read the directions. So the directions say, read the following passage. After reading the passage, correct the following capitalization errors in red. As you see, I'll zoom in on here. There are 14 errors. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer to one of them. So when you look at the first sentence, it says, in the book Wonders of the World, Giovanni Caselli gives the history of, I'm going to go ahead and stop. We see a name right here. We know that names need to be capitalized. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here. Oops, did it twice. Okay, the assignment says to then change the color to red. This will just help me. And there you go. We have went and found one of your errors. So now you have 13 more that you need to find. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. And good luck, guys.